I heard about a motivational speaker from Oklahoma City named Mallory Avalon. She has a young son named Gracen who had a terrible habit cough. No matter what she did, no matter what doctor she saw, it just wouldn't stop. At her wit's end, she heard about habitcough.com and the fine work of Dr. Weinberger. That night was Gracen's graduation from 6th grade. He didn't want to be with his class because he was upset and thought that he would distract everyone else's great time. His mom took the situation into her own hands. She drove across town calling her husband and said, "You have to film this. I know what to do." Following the session, she did a live Facebook feed. We present that to you in its entirety. Following Dr. Weinberger's expert advice, parents around the world are finding new variations on how to apply the Weinberger procedure with the most astounding outcomes. This is Gracen's story about being immediately cured by the Weinberger procedure by his mom.
I'm strong and can control anything that you tell your body to do or not to do. It's up to you to stop this. You're doing an amazing job. You're doing great. Got a very strong mind, and it's in control right now. You're doing awesome. You're at 2 minutes. Let's see if we can beat your 3-minute record. Yeah, that's okay. We're going to break it. Your mind is in control.
Daddy, come here.
Over the need to cough.
1 second.
I'm really proud of you. You're doing a really great job, Gracen. You stay in control. God gave you a strong mind in order to handle your body. We can form habits and we can break habits. And you're working really hard right now to break one, and I'm really proud.
So in February, Gracen started coughing out of nowhere. For any of you that saw my videos that I posted on Instagram or updates, this cough was deep, disruptive, uncontrollable. So much so that he was deemed too disruptive to be in school. Now he's a 6th grader. He has goals, he has things he has to do, he has work, and because of this cough that was so loud and so disruptive, I would get phone calls, "You need to come pick up your son. He can't be in class, it's too disruptive." It was deep, it was a bark, it was like incredibly loud, and everyone in the vicinity that would be hearing him cough would say, "Oh my gosh, is he okay? Oh my gosh, poor kid. Oh my gosh, that's so terrible. What medications is he on?" Let me tell you right now. First, we took him to a regular pediatrician. Then we took him to another doctor. Then we got a second opinion. He's had 4 different chest x-rays. He was put on incredibly high doses of prednisone, albuterol, at-home inhalation treatments, Z-Pak. First they thought it was bronchitis, then they thought it was croup, then they said, wait, this is really strange for a child that's 12 to be getting croup. Then he was put on a prescription cough medicine of adult dosage because the children's dosage wasn't touching the cough. But what I, as his mother, was seeing throughout all these medications is that nothing was helping. He was not improving at all. And so me being someone, now I'm not against pharmaceuticals. I think that they have their place, but I always think that there is a root to the problem. And I think that you have to get to that root. I think that you have to discover what is generating the issue in order to figure out what that is, in order to not have to require that medication anymore. But none of these medications were helping. Now, after so many doctor's visits, so many chest x-rays, they couldn't figure out anything that was wrong. They couldn't see anything. So they sent us to an ENT. Went to the ENT, they ran several tests. He was really incredible, and he was very patient. We tested reflux. He thought maybe there was some kind of GI issue. This is like ongoing. We saw several different specialists throughout this process. Then his ENT asked us to come back. He wanted to do a scope on his nose, throat, esophagus, take a camera down, look at everything. They thought maybe there was narrowing of the esophagus. Maybe there's like when you take a balloon and you kind of like squeeze it and it like gets that squeaky sound trying to push air out. They thought maybe that was what was going on. Nope. So then they send us to a CT scan. So then he has a CT scan. The CT scan comes back completely clear. Nothing wrong. Then a very dear friend of mine, who her mother happened to pass away from cancer, heard this cough and called me and was like, Mallory, I don't know if this is my place, but I hear this, and I just, being proactive like I am after my mother passed away from cancer, have you looked into this, this, and this? And like named off several things. So we did. We looked into everything. Every test came back completely clear. So then we were referred to a pediatric pulmonologist specialist. So we see him. He does, Dr. Reyes, incredible, up on the north side with Integris, and he runs all these different tests. He has him do a breathing machine. He has him do all these different things, and no answers. Absolutely nothing. No answers. So now my son, who has missed 8 weeks of school, they had to take him out of school. They had to unenroll him from school because he had missed so many days, and it looks bad on the district's attendance. So they have to, like by policy, they unenroll them. So me as a mother, you're like, what in the living hell is going on? Like, what in the world is happening? Like, what is causing this? You're trying to find answers. Like, if you've been that parent that you're so frustrated and you're like, what is going on? I don't know what to do. I'm doing everything I can. We've spent literally like thousands of dollars just on co-pays. Thank God for insurance. Just on co-pays and medications. Like, you're like, what in the world is going on? So it gets calm enough to a point that he gets to go back to school. Like, he's still coughing, and he's still coughing every minute, but it's not loud. It's not disruptive. So rewind just a bit, and Dr. Reyes asks if he can speak to me privately. He asks me some different questions. I give him some different answers, and he says, this is in his head, Mallory. I'm like, what? Like, why would someone choose to cough like this? Why would someone choose to cough so loud and so disruptive that it literally sounds like it hurts? Why would they choose this? He's like, he's not choosing it. It's a habit. He's created a habit, like a tick. He said almost like Tourette syndrome. Like something ticks and like they just keep doing it. He said this happens for various different reasons. Like sometimes they have patients that at one time they actually did need to cough from something, but then their body is healed, and then they continue to cough because their brain has created a habit of coughing. And so this is fascinating to me. So I'm like doing my research and I'm reading, and when I say doing research, I'm not like, oh, let me Google something. No, I've looked up articles from various universities, from different doctors that have studied pulmonology, different doctors that have studied various coughs. And it's been really interesting to me, this process. So we've tried different things. Michael would look at him in frustration. He's like, Gracen, this is the last time you're going to cough. Don't cough again. And of course he continues to. And so this has been a really rough process for us. He ended up going back to school. But then it got worse again. And it's so frustrating as a parent because I'm getting phone calls, come get your child. I'm sorry, Mallory, we have to have you come get him. It's so bad. And literally when I go through the clearance door at the school, I can hear him when I walk in the school, and they've like got him in the office. And it's so loud and so disruptive, and everyone stops us. Oh, poor kid, what's he have? What's he on? How long has he been sick? And I'm like, he's not sick. He's not sick. My child is well. He's going to football practice. He's running around outside. He's fine. He's coughing. But it's so loud and so often that we, like, what in the world is causing it? So I spent the better part of a few hours today really digging. And I found some really amazing information. And this is what I want to share, because any one of you that is dealing with this or know that someone is dealing with this, nope, no inflammation markers, no inflammation. He's had full panel allergy testing. He had his adenoids checked. He's had his lungs checked. He's had his esophagus checked. He's been tested for different disease, saliva, like literally everything. And everything comes back full clearance. Okay, Ashton, this is why I tagged you, because you're about to trip out, girl. So I did some digging further today. Oh yeah, I took him to Dr. Young also. Oh yeah, we've done chiropractic. You guys, we've done everything. I should probably blog this so it's out there. So today I do some more digging, and I come across an article on Dr. Weinberger called The Habit Cough. And how do you get rid of the habit cough? There's different things that trigger it. Trauma can trigger it. Stress can trigger it. A lot of children don't know how to deal with stress. Hell, a lot of adults don't know how to deal with stress. But children don't know how to deal with stress, so they can internalize and it can manifest physically. So today, after reading this article on Dr. Weinberger, and I'll put that in the comments so you guys can see it for anyone who's interested, does what he calls water therapy. And so I read it over and over again, and I watched videos, and I look, and I'm intensely watching. And so I get my son, and we sit on the couch, and I talk to him about the power of his mind. And I told him, Gracen, your mind will quit before your body ever will. Your mind has power over your body. Your mind has power over what you're putting out with your body. And I told him, you have a creator that put this magnificent machine inside of you that has made you strong. You are strong enough to overcome this. And while he's coughing extremely loudly at me, like coughing extremely loud, he's almost in tears. And I look at him and I'm like, you're really upset right now, aren't you? Come here, baby. Come here. Oh, sit there. Get the other chair, bub. So I'm looking at him, and my son's like, I'm almost in tears because I can see his frustration. It's been almost 13 weeks, you guys, since he's had this cough. And I look at him like I'm at a breaking point as his mother. Like anyone that's close to me knows, like I'm like borderline, like about to book some Reiki sessions with my girlfriend, some tapping, some like, what do we gotta do? I'm looking into like acupuncture. I'm like, what do we gotta do here? So I sit on the couch and I look at him and I start talking about the power of his mind. And I look, and he's about to cry. I'm like, Gracen, are you upset right now? And he's shaking his head and like he's borderline about to cry. And I'm like, Gracen, do you believe that your mind is a powerful tool? And he's like, yes. Like coughing, like manic coughing. I'm like, Gracen, your mind is a brilliant tool. And I start coaching him and I start telling him, like, this is what we're going to do, because I read all on this water therapy. So I have him take this lukewarm water that this article says that I need to do and hold it in his mouth. and he could only do it for about 30 seconds before he about spits it out everywhere because he needed a cough. But I congratulated him. He did it for 30 seconds. And then we did it again, and he did it for 40 seconds. And I congratulated him, and I said, "You're stronger." And then he did it for 45 seconds. And then it was a minute, and then it was 2 minutes, and then Michael walks in the house, and I'm like, "Michael, video this. Like, I can't believe what's happening." Bubba's sitting there. So at 5 o'clock, we started this, and by 5:30, he was holding the water for 5 minutes without coughing.
Now I've held it in for 2 hours.
No coughing for 2 hours. So this is part of this therapy, right? So they tell them to carry a water bottle around when they feel like, because there's been times that you've been like, what? He's been like, I'm like, that's okay. That's an improvement. It's not a cough. It's a clearing of the throat, and we're good. We're good. And I've kept reminding him how powerful his mind is, and that his mind has control over his body, and that he does not need to cough. He has no physical reason to be coughing, and that we develop habits so we can break habits. So we broke the habit of 13 weeks of coughing today. And this is a huge feat for us, you guys. Like, literally before we went to, we just got back from his 6th grade graduation, and maybe that there was some motivation behind it, because I was like, Gracen, hey, I had to go pick him up from school today. At 2 o'clock, they called me and they were like, "Mallory, he can't be in school. It's so loud." And I looked at him and I was like, "Gracen, other parents want to enjoy their children graduating tonight, and I'm not trying to guilt trip you, but we cannot go to this thing coughing. We have to overcome this." And we were in such a hurry to get around and not be late. I was like, "Gracen, I could cry right now. I'm so proud of you." Because he was frustrated and he wanted to give up. "Why are you yelling at me?" In a minute, okay? Hey, what did I say? Patience. We still have a toddler to teach about patience, obviously. But if you have a child that is coughing for an unknown reason, you guys, we've done everything. We've seen so many specialists. We've spent thousands of dollars on everything we possibly could think of to fix this. And I took the time to sit down with my child and look him in the eyes and tell him that his mind is more powerful than his body. This chronic coughing, this habit cough, as they refer to it with Dr. Weinberger, thank you, Gracen, because we sat and read it together and we looked at some videos, and I said, "Do you think you can do this?" And he was like, "I'll try," because he felt defeated. He has felt defeated this entire 13 weeks. All 3 of the 6th grade teachers came up to me tonight and they were like, "Mallory, he didn't cough the entire program. What happened?" And I began to tell them what happened, and their minds were blown. Like, I'm sorry, what? So if you know someone, this is why I'm sharing this information. If you know someone who has dealt with this cough and not been able to overcome it, like, I want you guys to know, like, I broke addiction in my own life by telling myself that I am more powerful than my addiction is. Your mind has the power to do anything. Like, our brains are so phenomenal. I've been fascinated with the study of the brain this past year. And so it was kind of like, I was kind of disappointed in myself, but at the same time, I was kind of like, aha, yes, this makes sense. This makes sense, because I've been studying the brain this last year. And so sitting down with him and discovering him and coaching him through it and congratulating him on the 30 seconds he didn't cough, and then congratulating him on the 45 seconds he didn't cough, and then reminding him how great he just did. And then we did it again, and then it was a minute, and then it was a minute and a half, and then it was 2 minutes. And look at him. So he might have to carry around a water bottle with him for the next few weeks for when he gets that urge to cough. What did that teach you?
Tell me that mind is more powerful than the body, and that you can control and break habits that you have.
Was it hard at first?
Yes.
Were you frustrated?
Yes.
You wanted to get mad, huh? He's a little hot-tempered. You were borderline about to cry, weren't you? Out of frustration?
Yes, ma'am.
And the moment that I noticed, you probably didn't notice, because what he started to do when his head was down and he was closing his eyes, he started going like this. And I noticed, but I didn't stop it. I just kept counting in my head. I didn't want him to count. Hold on. I didn't want him to count. No. Hold on. Rude. I didn't want him to count, and I didn't want him to look at the clock. So I made him look at me, and I caught him like doing this, and I thought, wow, it reminded me of when I decided to have a natural birth with Everly, and I had to get in this really zen place, and I had to prepare myself for 9 months to have a drug-free birth, and how powerful my mind was over what my body was experiencing and changing my perspective around my experience. And so as I saw him struggling and being so frustrated, he gained control in that moment. And as his mom, I was so proud, and I was like, I just want to cry right now, but I don't want to like break the concentration of this moment and what's happening. So for 13 weeks, we've been coughing uncontrollably. And as of 5:20 today, we have not coughed once. Are you so happy? It's been a journey, you guys. So I want you to know that if you know someone that's dealing with this particular thing, or have heard of it, or if you hear of it in the future, be like, oh, it could be 2 years from now, and you're like, oh my God, I heard this woman talking about the habit cough. Like, Google it. Go Google the habit cough, and it'll take you down the rabbit hole to this doctor that specifically speaks on it. And he goes to as far as to do Skype calls with children and their parents to help them walk through this. But I've done enough of this kind of therapy in my own life that I was like, oh, I got this. I can do this. So I sat down on the couch and did it with him. So
here is Mallory providing Gracen her own
what time
variation
is it now,
on the
Ashley?
Weinberger
Oh, that's right. You're
procedure.
like on the other side of the world.
She did
what
it.
time is it now?
Actually,
7, 8?
he did it. She just
No, you don't have to
showed
check.
him
I don't know what
how
time it is. I
to
don't
do
know.
it.
Hold on.
Great job, Mallory. Fantastic job, Gracen.
Yeah, it's probably close to 8 o'clock here.
The Weinberger
So it's been
procedure
hours since
may be
he's coughed,
adjusted
and
for
this is
any child in any language
astonishing
or
to me.
dialect
It really
in the
is,
world.
and this just shows you the power that your mind has over your body. And I had to share this, and I had to hop on here right now because I'm so fired up, because we literally just left the school graduation, and everyone was shocked because his classmates have heard him coughing uncontrollably for 13 weeks. He missed 8 weeks of school, you guys. So share this video, tag someone in it that needs to hear this information. Maybe it's a pulmonologist, maybe it's a pediatrician, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a family member. But you guys, this is like real deal right now, and I'm sure I have videos saved on my phone from the past 13 weeks of how deep and disruptive his cough was. And if you heard it on my Instagram story, you know exactly how bad it was. I have been in panic mode trying to figure out what it was, and this is what worked. See, 7:59, so 8 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock here. Kid hasn't coughed in hours, and I'm so happy. So if you know someone that's dealing with this, what do you want to tell them, Gracen Daryl? Your mind is what?
Powerful and more powerful than your body.
That's right. You heard it from a 12-year-old. Super proud of you, kid. Super proud. All right, share this video, guys. Seriously, I hope it helps somebody. I really hope that the information that we shared helps somebody. I will type in the doctor's name of the information that I saw, because I'm so grateful right now. Like, I'm literally gonna find his personal email and thank him, because this is what helped my child tonight. So I hope it helps you guys. Share it. Seriously, people have to know this, because we have straight struggled the last 13 weeks. So happy, so grateful for the power of the mind tonight. Have a good night, guys.
My full session with Dr. Weinberger is on our website at habitcough.com.
Please be advised, this was our experience with Dr. Weinberger. Yours might certainly differ, but Talk to your pediatrician, talk to your pulmonologist, talk to your child's doctor, and let them know about habitcough.com.